It's been just about a month and 2 weeks since the United National Congress has been in government. And it seems like for some strange reason, they're underperforming. They're not doing what the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago have tasked them to do. A large majority of the population is convinced that the United National Congress is not meeting their obligations. Or at least that's what the PNM voter base thinks. Because for some strange reason, it seems like they're hell-bent on spreading as much lies and propaganda to create a narrative as much as possible. And not only that, they're literally crashing out on the internet, and boy, am I here for it. Because I always said that these journalists, they're not journalists, they're journalists. These journalists has been peddling propaganda for the last umpteen amount of years, especially the last 9 under the Keith Rowley government. But let's have a listen to some of their crash outs, and let's see if we can pick apart some of the things that they've been saying on the internet.
The slogan, when UNC win, everybody win. Like something to eat. You know, I didn't win. No, I didn't win. I had a contract at the State Enterprise, TTT. And they bust my throat. When UNC win, everybody win. You may not understand. Really? Or see that I truly love my country. Really?
So here it is. We have a case where he is upset. Look at his face. Look at his demeanor. He is saying that when UNC win, everybody wins. But he didn't win. What do you mean you didn't win? You was winning for the last 9 years. You was winning for the years before that too. But you see here what is going on with him now. There's no Street 919. There's no 91.1. And there is no government contract. But my question is this. What form of journalism did you do that make you land on the state TV station and airways? How did that happen? How did you get that job? The job that you're so annoyed that has been now taken away from you. Because you're saying when UNC win, you didn't win. But that's expected. For the last 9 years, all you did was peddle propaganda over the radio airways. Most of those press conferences, when you went, you didn't even ask a question or much less say anything. In some cases, I even saw you nodding away in the front. So what was your purpose other than just to be a propaganda machine for the PNM? That is all you did. But now you're upset because here it is now. We have a new government in power and they're rooting out all the weeds. And you just happen to be a weed that got rooted out and now you're angry. You're crashing out on the internet. You're having a bad time. But let's go on a bit further to something else you would have just mentioned.
When UNC win, let me tell you something, eh? I'm sorry to say that, but I feel like I'll come back to haunt them. You see that phrase? That phrase will come back to beat them. Because not everybody going to win. Because as I was telling you earlier on, there are people who believe that they are there for 10 years and they put in things in place to be there for 10 years. I want to disappoint some of you. Right? I want to disappoint some people with that phrase and that saying. Let me tell you why I want to disappoint some of you. Right? Let me tell you why I will disappoint some of you with that. You see, CPEP contractors got a renewal of their contract for 4 years. If you have to get rid of the CPEP contractors, you have to pay them off. Because you don't have the money to pay off CPEP contractors. Well, that's why I believe, that's why I think. Right? That's why I believe. And that's what I would have gathered from Mr. Manning's interview on Monday. That they don't have money to do those things. So, CPEP contractors, 4 years. Forestry contractors, 4 years. There is low-hanging fruits. Those are the little persons who would have run around for them. You know what I mean? People would have campaigned for them. Yeah, that is the CPEP contract that they would believe that they would get. Right? So they believe that they would get those CPEP contract and those forestry contract. And they would have believed that they would have controlled URP. So URP is one of their pet peeves that they believe that they can run in and get rid of all the URP workers and fully positions with their people and be able to deal with people, put their people in position. But PNM would have fixed their house, put things in place so that they cannot move people just like that. Well, you know, I want to say something that I should not say. I really shouldn't say. But yeah, but in my case, in my situation, you know, CEO take it upon himself to run out and get rid of me because however he feel that he would have gotten favor with the government. Let's see. Let's see how that go. Because Bridget, there are some questions to answer.
So you're saying here that the reality of this place is that this is where they're trying fear-mongering people. They're trying to convince the CPEP voters that here what you need to study, that the PNM gave you all jobs. Your jobs were secure, but now the UNC is here. They're going to try to take your jobs from you. Really? Really? It makes no sense what you are trying to peddle here for one simple reason. Leading up to the 2025 elections, there were several reports from CPEP workers and from CPEP employees and literally from CPEP contractors of being forced to vote PNM or lose their job.
It will done. I rather work with it as 5 workers. You understand? I rather work with you if it's 5 workers. All the teams and them supposed to go. I say I will not take all the teams and them. I will just take 2 workers. And it's still a problem on some of them team. They get 2 workers from another team. All the shakasness going on done, you know. Because you see, all who find getting the money too easy. If they can't support a party while they're working, some of them for the last 6 years. That is it. I am making no joke. You see this wrong? I am making no joke. Let them workers and them no plane. I'm not on no shit. If they can't support some people who are them working, then they can't be working. Let them get somewhere else to go. All who are in second work, let them stay in their second work. I ain't going through that. Right? I ain't going through that. But workers will end up, let's say, Peter pay for Paul, because I will put the time right back to 1 o'clock, where workers let them sit down there 7 to 1. And I say, Peter.
They were the ones that was being threatened. They were the ones that was being extorted. They were the ones that was being forced to comply and then complain because the jobs was on the line. The UNC wasn't trying to take the jobs from them. The PNM was threatening the jobs. And they were threatening the jobs for votes. And they became very jaded because of it. They were highly annoyed by it. And that is why you would have felt like a lot of them would have rebelled. And that might have been what caused the shift in dynamics and made them go and actually support the United National Congress. It had nothing to do with them just wanting to vote for yellow. It had nothing to do with just yellow is the code. A lot of people who went over to yellow because your government treated them disgusting for the last 9 years. And they felt jaded by that. They felt like they needed to leave. But here it is now. He's trying to peddle to the few people that would listen to him that UNC is coming for your jobs. And he's not the only person that did it. I saw a news source put out a post also stating that here what? They're coming for your jobs, CPEP workers. Your jobs are on the line. You all need to be very mindful. But my question is this. Everybody is panicking, but this is something that the government does. Any government that comes into power, they switch up. But you know what's the amazing thing? The statement that he made just now. You're basically saying that here what? They are coming for your jobs. And you went on, and I quote because it's in your video clip there. You said that the PNM government would have put things in place for the last 9 years to make sure that UNC can't easily remove people or displace people from those positions that they're in now. So, in other words, what we have here is a pot calling kettle black scenario. Because here it is, you're trying to convince your masses that UNC is coming to replace people and put people out of their job and put their people into their spaces, while at the same time admitting that the PNM did the same thing. Because that is what you just said. You said that the PNM displaced workers who was there before and planted their people in the institutions to make sure that if anybody comes and takes over these institutions, it can't be done. That's your words. You just said that. So in other words, it's okay for the goose, but it's not good for the gander. Do for do is not bad mind. Do for do is not bad mind. But you see, that is what you all have been accustomed to for the last 9 years. You are accustomed to a sense of governance that is a tyrant style governance. You are accustomed to tyranny. So now you're seeing democracy for the first time and you all hate it. You're looking at any little fault, but the MPs, they've been out and they've been doing the job and they're going to continue doing the job for the next 5 years. You all could continue nitpicking at all the little small things. You have one keeping count of every time Kamala Prasad Bisesa is seen. Like they literally is the paparazzi. They're following the woman all over the place. Kamala Prasad spotted today. Kamala Prasad spotted in the last 24 hours. When Keith would disappear for weeks on end to go play golf, nobody questioned where Keith was. Keith would just give us whoever MP he felt like giving us on that day to watch the nation while Keith went and have his frolics. You all never did anything about that. You all never complained. But now all they keeping track of Kamala's movement, everything. Then you have a next one who is literally watching the murder calendar. And he already counting anybody keeping track of how many deaths taken place since Kamala Prasad Bisesa is in government. Well, let me let you just know, she inherited some from the PNM. And I know that it's driving you mad because you was expecting blood to run in the streets because you know that the statement you all like to throw back in her face. So you all was expected. It's so funny that for the last 9 years that she was in opposition, bloods flowed all over Trinidad and Tobago. It ran wild. It wasn't flowing in the streets. It was a river of blood, a flash flood of blood. But you all ain't going to talk about that. Right? You're not going to talk about that at all. So here it is, you all just keeping track of any little thing to nitpick, to try to distract the voters, to distract the citizens about the good governance that is going on. But here what's going on? Well, they're looking like fools. Because the other day when the flood was taking place, Khadija Amin, right? Councillor Ahmed, right? And all these other MPs, Michelle Benjamin, they were out in their numbers. Philip Edward Alexander was walking the streets to the point where you all were teasing him and saying he was wearing a dress shoes to go and walk the Cascade area, saying that what he doing that for? He in governance now. There's no reason for him to walk, right? But he was walking with our boots on, highlighting all the things that the PNM didn't do and why the waterways was clogged up now. And now they were going to actually do something about it. But you all decided to troll him and make a laugh and a joke out of it. Because why? You all are not accustomed to good governance, right? Here it is. We have the Minister of National Security coming up the highway. An accident take place by 4 Road. The first journalist run out and put up a post. The Minister of National Security was in an accident, and I hope that everybody is okay and well, right? Only for it to be debunked a few hours later that the Minister of National Security was coming up the road in his motorcade, his blue lights motorcade, which the last 9 years, Fitzgerald Hines and Keith Rowley and all the others would have used to go through traffic and would have never stopped to take notice of what is going on to the citizens that are stuck in the traffic. If it was an accident that would have caused it, they wouldn't even open the bus route until the very last minute, right, to assist the problem. But here it is. Our new Minister of National Security, Mr. Wayne Sturge, stopped his motorcade with his blue lights to render assistance. to render assistance. And that is why you all believe that the government of the day is underperforming. That is why you all believe that Kamala Persad-Pisesa is not doing her work. Because you all were expecting her work to be like the madman we had running Trinidad and Tobago for the last 9 years. You all are crashing out. The reason why PNM voters are so frustrated is because Kamala treating all you nice and all you confused, or you don't know what good governance is, what good governance feel like. It feel good, it's sweet. The only time all your accustomed seeing all your MP is when all you walk down the grocery aisle in the peas lane and all you look at a tin of MP peas on the shelf. That is the only time all you used to see all your MP. But now all you're seeing MP all over the place. You're seeing councillors all over the place for the change. Not like the councillor from Lavantil who cost me leading up to the election because I highlighted the garbage in Lavantil in the success area. Not the PNM councillor that was costing me because of that. No. Councillors and MP that care, right? We had a Minister of National Security, Lima McLeod Wilkinson, cost that man for 9 years, Chief Bristow, and she cost that man, Fitzgerald Hines, for 9 years to see about the fire services men, to look into what was going on in fire services, to clean up fire services. And here it is, we have a month and a week in of the United National Congress government, and we Minister of Homeland Security touring all fire stations. How? HOO, how? Make it make sense. Good governance. And all you're frustrated, all you're cracking up at the scenes, all you're confused. What going on here? Why they not treating we bad? Why they not treating we bad? According to all your prime minister, I feel that somehow all you're going out of all your cotton picking minds. And that is what driving all you crazy. And we need to start to put some of all you on suicide watch too, because I'm genuinely worried about you all. Because at this point, what will it take for you all to understand this good governance? What all you thought this was? The old Kamala Persad-Pisesa, who MPs probably did some craziness and stuff, and you all got something to talk about for the last night? All you thought that was going to be the same kettle of fish? No, no, this is a different United National Congress. A United National Congress that is nation-driven. The woman just won a choice award. The People's Choice Award. What can it ever win? What can it ever win? But you see, this is why they're crashing out, because you lost your work. You're vexed. You're coming to bump your gum. They're looking for any little thing because good governance running the place. The place feeling light. It feeling light. And there's so many other things that you could touch on. But you see, these are the things you all don't want to accept. You don't want to admit that good governance is taking place. But hear what? I am all here for it. You all bunch of urinalists. Now you all displaced. You all trying to figure out where to go, and you're blaming Kamala. Kamala had nothing to do with it. Where's your PNM handlers? You're not on state media no more. State media is free. TTT not censoring comments no more. How come TTT could have censor comments if TTT belongs to the state? And the state is the people. Because when they say sue the state is the people, does get sued. So if TTT belonged to the state, why was TTT censoring comments for the last 9 years? Who caused that? Or the tyrant government that was there. The tyrant government that you was part of. The tyrant government that is no longer there. That is why you are no longer in TTT. You understand? But now we have a new government. The thing nice. Akash Samaru said in an interview just the other day with KG, he said, yes, I know I was going to get backlash from the Indo supporter. And I want to say big up Akash Samaru for standing his ground, right? He said he knew he was going to get backlash, but that is what journalism is. But you want to know what was the key takeaway from his interview the other day? He said, oh, he wasn't expecting all that time to talk to the new prime minister. Because why? The government before, the tyrant all you had, used to censor the questions. They couldn't ask what they want. Media and journalism was trampled upon by the PNM. So everybody was afraid to ask questions. Everybody was afraid to talk. Everybody was afraid to protest. Everybody was afraid to question anything. But now democracy is back. And you all will go mad for the next 5 years until you all get penny. And it doesn't matter if Kamala Persad-Bissessar cleans up everything in this country to the point where everybody now sits down on a golden toilet bowl when they go to use the bathroom. You all will still vote Penelope Beckles because you all wicked bad mind and just want to see the country stay in a hot mess because you all were able to eat a little more. But for this 5, we will enjoy the benefits of this new government. We will enjoy democracy that is driven and is people-centered. So you all keep crashing out on the internet. Make a better version of yourself, people. And if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe because it lets YouTube know that I exist. Right? Stay prayed up, Trinidad and Tobago. We in good hands for a change. I gone.